And welcome to week number 1 of the MEA Proto Orca and Touring Car Championship Series. I'm SSR Mayhem, bringing you live action here at Brands Hatch, where we got Protos, touring cars, and an hour and a half of racing as all the drivers are set to go. We don't have all of our touring cars. Look like some of the drivers missed the memo for today as we are about to get ready to go racing here in about 30 seconds. And I'm looking forward to this one as this is the first event for MEA in the multi-class division. And we've got some really top talent in both lobbies. Unfortunately, some of the drivers not able to make the show. So we are about to get going here. And let's get this started as ESV Scottson and SSR Yami will both be the pole sitters coming off of week number 1. And regardless, we got plenty of touring cars, so can't complain. But about 50 drivers out of the 60 that were supposed to show today have made it between 3 different lobbies. And I'm excited to see this one as we get ready to go racing. One pace lap at around 50 miles per hour to start the race. And then as they hit the front of the front stretch, start-finish line, once the nose of the car hits the line, that will be green for those drivers. If the drivers do lag out at any point during the lap, the pace lap session, they will then have to restart. And I'm not sure what's going on here. And looks like Vettel was ready to go. So we're getting ready to go here. But let's start the grid order here. Starting on the front row, ESV Scottson and Hardra. We'll start that front row. RZM Vettel, MRT Jewel, SSR Bobbers, 3, 4, and 5. 6 will be SSR Nicole in her first prototype series ever. SSR Numi and SSR Shane round out 7th and 8th. And off the final prototype will be RDE Yazin. They're driving the Chevy LMP09. And in the touring car division, SSR Yami starts on the front row beside RDE Gui. Right behind them is GRT Let's Fly and Mexaterra. 5th starting spot will be RDE Burrito. SSR Starlord starting in that 8th spot, or 6th spot. 7th is the Dirt Police. That'll round out your touring car division. So here we go. The drivers will start doubling up as they get to the start line. We'll ride with RZM Vettel as he will be starting in that 3rd spot. Former driver of Rise Motorsports, after departing about a week ago, he'll make his first MEA appearance as a solo act. Let's see how he does. We got 3 top drivers in the prototype position about to go at it. The rest of the field ready to rock and roll. We got an hour and 28 minutes to go. And here we go. ESV Scottson, the pole sitter, alongside him, Hydra. They hit the line and we go green here at Brands Hatch. And Bobbers with a big move through the first turn. It looked like he got almost a little loose that inside line. Now SSR Numi drops back to the 9th position. Meanwhile, here goes Scottson Hydra as they go side by side in the first few turns of the track. Still holds the inside line. Vettel to the inside of Joel, side by side. They go up the left-hander here, still side by side. Joel had gotten a little bit discombobulated there. Bobbert's got to make the pass there, and Vettel was able to hold on to that 3rd spot here at lap number 1. So as the race goes, we will see how the drivers react as they get to the the touring car group. And let's get on those guys right now as let's get on with Let's Fly from GRT as those guys have taken off. It looks like one of the prototype drivers made a big mistake at the start of the race. That's RDE Jansen, and he's now fighting through all those touring car guys. Looks like some of the touring car guys got discombobulated, and looks like RZM Vettel had made a mistake as well, and he's trying to get back into things here. So far, a lot has happened. The Dirt Police, he's way off the pace by himself right now. Let's get on that front battle, though, in the prototype group with ESV Scottson and Hydra. Oh, and there's a sign on the racetrack, and they're trying to get it out of the way, but, oh, Hydra spins out off the corner! And he was able to hold on to it, it looks like, right there, but lost a lot of time. It's a very tough track for the prototype guys, as they're not used to driving here. If you want to know the method to MEA's madness, they did a split decision on track selection basing off the touring cars and the prototypes. There was supposed to be about 14 touring cars here today, but some of them were actually not able to make this race, and then a few of them did not make it on time. So we have over about half the field here, but unfortunately a smaller field for them as we go green flag, like I said, green flag racing here in the A lobby. The B lobby currently has all 23 drivers shown up for that one. Very exciting for the B lobby. They have everybody there, so can only imagine how that race is going. In the C lobby, they got about 8 to 10 drivers who have made it as well, so a very good showing here, week number 1, as Hydra and Joel are duking it. And look at this back here, 2 teammates, also boyfriend and girlfriend, SSR Bobberts and Nicole. They have never competed in a prototype before. It's their first go around for this, and right now they're 4th and 5th of each other. Nicole right on the back end of Bobberts there, coming off the corner. She's still on the back bumper of Bobberts. Got a little loose in the front end of the car. Meanwhile, Vettel is starting to catch right back up as Shane looks to defend off his position in 6th place. As we pull up the race map here, you can see the blue dots are the touring car guys. The red dots are the prototype guys. In RD Yazin and the Dirt Police, you can see them tailing on both colors there. Those guys had some issues early in this race. But let's go check the mid-pack of the touring car group, as we got some action going on here. A battle brewing between 3rd place RD Gui, GRT Let's Fly, Mexaterra. But we know Mexaterra, he's been a former driver here at MEA, hasn't made the last couple events. Glad to have him back in action with us again. And it's GRT Let's Fly's first appearance in MEA, so we're excited to see how he holds up as this race progresses. RD Gui goes off the track, and look at that, SSR Starlord as well, tailing that end of the group. And then there's the Dirt Police back in 7th right now by himself. Pull up that race map again. Around the 6th lap of this race, 6th or 7th lap of this race, these prototype guys will start catching up to the back end of the touring car group, like we said earlier. So right now we got a nice little battle side by side. Mexaterra to the outside of GRT Let's Fly. Looks like Queen's off the track and loses all of Zaterp's momentum. Wonder if there's any damage to the car of Mexaterra. We'll find out here in just a moment. No damage, just had to slow down there. RD Gui making a little bit of a mistake early in this one, and the guy leading the charge in the A lobby for the touring cars, SSR Yami. He's all by himself, taking off. RD Brito, 2nd driver right now running in that touring car division. Scottson, however, is starting to creep up, and it looked like SSR Nicole had made a mistake. She drops back to the 8th position now. And I think there might be a battle brewing. Yep, we got SSR Bobberts and Hydra. Hydra made a mistake, and he's currently having issues as MRT Jewel is taking over that 2nd spot. It's going to be really interesting to watch some of these guys today, as the prototypes, like we said earlier, they don't normally race at a track like this as tight as it is. So it's going to be really interesting, and Scottson has been able to make everything happen so far as we ride along with Scottson right now. Let's check him out. He's all by himself. He's got MRT Jewel falling behind him. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, post-race interviews after the race. We're going to try to take the top few drivers of each group, get them in the lobby. We might bring in top 5 of each group as well, so we'll see what happens. But here comes the first car that Scottson has to deal with. That would be the Dirt Police. And the Dirt Police just needs to hold on to his line. And there goes Scottson to that inside line, goes right by him, but the Dirt Police goes off the track. Get back on with Hydra there as they catch up to the touring car driver. And Hydra to the inside. Bobbers to the inside. This is probably not where the Dirt Police wants to be right now, but he is hanging on strong. That's important right now. You just got to hold on to his line. Don't get discombobulated. And let these guys get right on by him so he can get back on track here. As you see, SSR Shane now dips down to the inside of the Dirt Police, and Numi and Nicole are following suited. And the Dirt Police gets right out of everybody's way, so he made it real nice and easy for those guys. And right now, they're all in going through the touring car drives as we ride along with next to Terup in the touring car division. He's just trying to stay out of everybody's way right now. And Vettel and Bobbert's doing some battling there for position as well. Let's get on them. Let's get on Bobberts or Vettel, one of the two, as they try to go through the field. Bobbert's getting held up. RDE Gwee goes off the track into the sand. It's getting wild out there. SSR Shane making the outside pass on GTRT. Let's fly. RDE Burrito right there as well. Hanging on tight for that second place spot. Hydra getting on by, it looks like Yami now. Let's get on with Vettel again, I'm sorry. And Bobbers goes off turn one! Into the sand as well! Vettel to the inside of Yami right there, the race leader of the touring car group. So lap traffic already taking effect for some of these guys, and it's getting good as the prototype guys really had to dip and dive through that field. And it looks like Jansen is also getting caught up into that. Let's watch how his race goes from a car perspective as he's going through all these guys. Goes right on by Terup and Star-Lord. Star-Lord clips the side of Gwee here. I'm sorry, it's not Gwee. Jansen, I apologize. Jansen gets all right by his teammate Burrito in the touring car group, and Let's Fly. Just like that, he makes nice, easy work of it, but he's got a lot of making up to do, and he wants to get back up to the guys in the touring car division here. Let's hop back onto the touring car group right now. GRT Let's Fly still leads the line of cars here between Burrito, Star-Lord, and Terup. These guys are keeping it tight so far as Yami has kind of gotten away from that pack. And Star-Lord looking to make a move on Burrito here. You see RDE Gwee is caught back up to this one here. So it's going to be interesting to see how he fights through these guys side by side, Burrito and Star-Lord. Star-Lord not able to make the move on the outside. And these guys are getting good here. Alright, so the action gets good here with the touring car group as they're running between 3rd and 5th right now. RDE Burrito holding up, actually 3rd through 6th, as Gwee is in that mix as well. You see these 4 drivers still running with each other. We'll take their names off their cars for a minute. Burrito, Star-Lord, Terup, and Gwee, 3rd through 6th right there. As you can see, that GRT Let's Fly is starting to get away from that group as he's starting to kind of distance himself like Yami has since the start of this race. We'll pull up the race map again, see how the Protos are doing. You can see there on the map there, they're only halfway on the track near one another. There looks like a couple of battles for 2nd, and it looks like 6th or 7th back there in the prototype class. And battling for 5th now. Looks like Gwee's looking to make a move on Terup. Onto the inside of Terup, side by side, going into turn number 1. Terup has to take the outside line and has to give up that position to Gwee. Now Gwee had an issue earlier in the race, and he had to kind of fight his way back up to this group. It looked like Let's Fly had to kind of a little bit loose off that corner there off of 2. So And Gui trying to catch back up to Star-Lord and Brito. And let's get on Star-Lord now, as he's been working on Brito. It's a terror. It looks like he's drifting back there. So while the action's heating up here in the touring car group, let's get on that third place battle between Vettel and Hydra. Hydra is struggling in this one, it looks like, as he's starting to try to catch back up. He was on the second position on the outside row, but just like Vettel, made some mistakes, and Scottson hasn't made a mistake since the start of this one. He's kept himself pretty tight. Joel's been very consistent. We talked about him in the past, Mr. Consistency in previous series. The last couple of series he was with us, he kind of had some struggling moments, but he's looking good, looking sharp on a break for a couple of months, and glad to have him back with us. And always a pleasure to have any drivers compete in MEA. And if you want to get involved, just go to Twitter at MEA Online Racing for all the updated series and action that you could be a part of or possibly watch as of today. So we appreciate everybody watching and all the competitors competing here today. As Joel makes a mistake, but Vettel almost made a mistake, it looks like, as Hydra got a huge run off of one. And now we got a three-car battle in the Protos. Joel, Vettel, Hydra. Vettel's probably the easiest one to point out because he's all white. He's an all-white car. And they're still cooking, but they got a touring car in front of them. Looks like the Dirt Police. And Dirt Police didn't get in their way. He got right out of the way. Dirt's doing very good, struggling early on, but he's getting that experience, and he's never been a part of MEA before, and we're glad to have him. He did very good in qualifying, but just hasn't been able to put on the clinic he probably wanted to do. And just like that, Hydra clips Vettel off of two. Vettel has to get back on the track. Hydra being very respectful of that. And now they're in lap traffic, and this is not where you want to be if you are these two guys, because now they are in the battle of the touring car group, and Joel's doing everything he can to get through him. Hydra's going to have to fly too, before they get to the next corner. Brito's the only car there that's going to really make a big problem. And, Hydra hanging on to it. Good driving by Hydra. Brito, you know, those cars, it's a little bit harder for them to turn in, and he tried everything he could not to hit Hydra. Hydra just barely clips the car, but was able to hang on to it as they're going right through the field right now of touring cars, and the battles are great right now. There's battles in both classes, and right now the big one is currently in the prototypes, as it looks like the touring car guys kind of distanced themselves, but that was a little hectic there for some of these guys, especially Gui and Vettel and Hydra. And the battle continues here as SSR Yami, the touring car race leader, is kind of in the crossfire of the prototype battle, as Vettel and Hydra have squeezed on by him. We pull up the race map, and there's a lot of commotion going on back through here. Let's go back there and check on 7th place driver SSR Nicole, or I'm sorry, SSR Numi. They both have N's in their names, so kind of easy to mix them up sometimes, as they're kind of getting through the touring car field right now. The touring car drivers are doing a very good job of staying out of the prototype's way, and the prototype drivers are doing a very good job of getting through the touring car fields. But look at this, RDE Jansen has started to catch up to the back end of the touring car field, and he had a pretty decent qualifying time. He did start at the tail of the field, SSR Bobbert, something happened to him. He's fallen off the pace. Let's check out and see how he's doing. He must have had an accident. He's falling back to last in the prototype group as he goes to the inside of GRT Let's Fly. It looks like he almost got him clipped there, but he's able to hang on. But he's got a lot of work to do as he was running up there in the top 5 for a little bit. Let's get up to SSR Shane, see how he's doing. All alone. Nicole chasing him down. Let's check on Scottson. He's all by himself. We'll pull up the race map. He's got free reign. There's a nice 3-car battle here. And it looks like the Proto guys. RD Guido, he's making some moves here on everybody. He's battling with his teammate right now, RDE Brito. Gui gets in that sand just a little bit there. And just to give you all an update, there is 3 lobbies. And Gui making work. Oh, he taps Brito side by side. And look at this, a 3-car battle now that Star-Lord's gotten into the mix of it. RDE, SSR, 3, 4, 5. And we're about 20 minutes into this race, ladies and gentlemen. And it's been good. It's been great. We still got about an hour and about, hour and 10 minutes to go here. So a lot of racing left. So this is good stuff. Good stuff. They're staying with each other. Mexitarp really fell off the pace, however. And RD Gui has gotten loose out of that 3-car battle. And he is on a mission. He came from last of his group back up to the top 5 and is now in contention of hunting down another driver as Star-Lord and Brito now do some battling for that 4th position as Star-Lord has had his fair share of struggles so far in this one, and Zaterra, he was doing hot early on in this one, but hasn't been able to really rebound since he made an early mistake. Oh, and there's a prototype driver off the racetrack. That's Hydra. Not sure what happened to Hydra and MRT Jewel. They must have had a night. They must have clipped one another because both of those drivers were off the track. No damage to either or of the cars, it looks like, but very unfortunate. These guys are struggling on this racetrack, and it's showing. It's showing how tough it is out there for these guys and these prototypes. It's a very skinny track, not a lot of room. You get to those those touring car drivers, and then it makes it twice as hard. So far, they've been mainly having issues with each other on the racetrack. You see SSR Shane there behind Jewel. Scottson has done nothing but phenomenal performance right now, and he's now back into the touring car field again as he passes the dirt police. And we pull up the race map again, and you can see how far he is. And Vettel back in that 2nd spot, coming off of turn 1 now. He's got a ways to go. Hydra, he's been struggling this entire race, but it's so far so good for these the Proto guys, because they really haven't had any big issues. But somebody's off the track in the touring car group, and we're about to find out what happened here. Could it have been RD Gui? He was in front of that pack as we ride on ESB Scottson, and Gui made the mistake right there. So look at this, SSR Star-Lord has gotten loose, and Scottson trying to get through the field. Brito goes off the track, Gui goes off the track. And these guys, it's tough out there. As much room as these guys are getting, it's not a whole lot. And now we got a 4-car battle again, I believe. Hold on a second here. No, Star-Lord got loose. So Star-Lord's actually got the winner of this whole ordeal. And right now, these 3 guys are back at it again. As you can see, Star-Lord kind of got away from there. A lot happens when these touring car guys and the prototypes. There's Vettel. He goes to the inside. He tries to squeeze on by everybody. And he goes right on past them. So just to give you guys an idea of how the scoring works here, there's two different divisions, the touring cars and the prototype drivers. On the top of your screen through the loop right now, you see that we have the touring car group. This set that just comes across now with ESV Scotland, this is all the protos. The best way to know is the color. When you see the red lines next to the players' names, that's the prototype group. When you see the blue lines next to their name, it's Jules off the racetrack and almost gets right in the Shane. Mistakes are starting to be made for some of these guys, and it's really tough at certain points of this track as RD Burrito goes off the racetrack again. They're getting antsy out there. They're getting antsy. Saterep goes off the track trying to avoid the coal. They're probably all happy that this race is getting out of the way at week number 1 because it's been tough, especially trying to give that space to these guys. They're definitely having to fight for every bit of it. But once again, if you're watching the loop, guys, remember, names with red lines next to their name, those are the prototype drivers. Names with blue lines next to their name, that's the touring car division. That's how you'll identify who's in what place of what class. Oh, but there's an accident. Not sure what happened. We have a DNF, though, in the race. And RD Jansen spins out off the corner. And it looks like MRT Joel had lagged out. Either that or he backed out. Not sure what happened to MRT Joel, but he's no longer in this one as Numi goes on by the touring car group. If you have a certain driver you'd like to see, let us know down in the comment section. As SSR Yami right there by himself in the lead, having kind of a Sunday cruise for himself. And let's see who we can find here. Let's go back to the touring or the prototype group, as I believe we might have a battle going on here. As Nicole's the one chasing down SSR Shane right now. So let's pull up the race map here, see how everyone's doing. Vettel. Hydra's starting to catch up just a little bit in that group. It looks like all the drivers have pretty much spaced out in this one. So Hydra right now going on by one of the touring car drivers. right, so we can go through the field here. Let's start with the prototype guys to see how everyone's placed right now. Oh, and Scottson barely hanging off the corner, almost gets right into the dirt police right there. And that was probably the only mistake we've probably seen him almost make in this entire race. He's been phenomenal. But let's look at the field as it is. As ESP Scottson, here he is, currently a race leader, number 3. Started on the pole, hasn't looked back. Right behind him, RZM Vettel, or we can just call him Vettel at this point. I'm not sure if he wants to go just by Vettel or not, but we'll go by Vettel. He's currently 2nd after getting through all the cluster of things. In 3rd, Hydra, DRM, has had a rough go today. 4th will be SSR Nicole, as there might be pit stops happening right now. There's a good chance that that's a thing. We'll find out here in a little bit as we hold this up. 5th place right now is SSR Bobberts. The fuel is starting to really dim down for some of these drivers. 6th will be SSR Shane. Shane must have made a mistake, as he was in front of Nicole. SSR Numi, he's back there in that 7th spot. And then 8th will be RDE Jansen, who... Oh, I'm sorry. I overshot him. RDE Jansen, who also... So all the prototype guys actually are on the same pit schedule right now. As we go to the touring car field to see where they are all at. On the lead right now is SSR Yami, out there all on his lonesome. Right in 2nd place is GRT Let's Fly. Let's Fly's been doing really good, and it looks like he might be getting some speed here as he's starting to kind of catch up, it looks like. In 3rd, RD Burrito, all out there alone, battling really hard through this race. RD Gui, he's back there as well. 4th place is Vettel going on by him. 5th will be MEX Zaterra. And he's kind of hanging low and trying to do his best out there, but has gotten involved in some incidences. The tire wear on these touring cars are what's going to be a factor for most of these guys. The touring cars, it's going to be just based off of how hard they're driving. Their fuel mileage really won't be much of a factor as much as their tire wear will be. So it'll be interesting to watch some of these guys. As you see here, the Dirt Police running in that 6th spot. It looks like SSR Starler might have made a pit stop, and he did. So Starler getting those fresh tires, some fuel, and seeing if that helps him at all in this next stretch. So that is your entire field of touring and prototype guys. And we got a driver in pit road. It's probably not the right person that I clicked on, but that would be GRT Let's Fly. Let's Fly started close to the mid-pack, so with the addition of some of the people missing the race, he got to start a little bit closer to the front, and here he comes out right in front of SSR Shane. And Shane's like, oh, hold on there, fella. Let me get right on by you there. As the Dirt Police is the next car in line for Shane. Gets right on by him, and now we'll have a battle for the 5th place spot, though the Dirt Police will need to be making a pit stop. Who knows how long. But we'll stay on this as the battle is starting to brew here for that 5th position. And Numi getting right into that battle, says, hey, let me on by real quick here, fellas. I don't want to mess up your race. And he does just that as GRT Let's Fly and the Dirt Police still duking it out. The Dirt Police trying to hold him off as much as he can, but he's really not on the same lap as Let's Fly is, or I should say the same strategy, as Jansen's coming right on by them as well. And GRT Let's Fly looks to the inside of the Dirt Police. The Dirt Police hanging on to that lower line, and he goes into pit road. And so that will let Let's Fly loose. But how much time did he lose during that pit cycle? Or I should say during that whole lap, because Yami actually went into the pits too. He's running in that 2nd spot, which gives up RD Gui the race lead. I'm trying to hit the right thing here. And third place coming out of the pits as SSR Starloop will go on by him. Oops, hit the wrong one. That's all right. We'll ride with the Anson for a minute. He's trying to track down SSR Numi, I believe, right now in that 6th spot. And it looks like we had some grass cutters out there with RD Gui out there trying to do that. RD has 3 drivers in the A lobby, 2 in the touring car division and 1 in the prototype division as Gui dives down into the pits. Check how Nicole's doing, and she's currently in that 4th spot. Oh, there's a battle though. SSR Nicole and SSR Bobbers for that 4th position right now in the prototype group. We'll hang on with these 2 right now. Nicole trying to hang on strong there against Bobbers. We'll ride along with Bobberts on this one on the on-cam view, see how his perspective. Oh, Bobberts is going into the pits. That leaves Nicole, so we'll just go back to Nicole for that one. So much for that, that Bruin battle that we were looking at. Scottson's going through the touring car field right now. Or I'm sorry, that's Vettel. My apologies. Scottson has made a pit stop. And Vettel will make a pit stop, as Hydra will as well. So these guys entering the pits. So they are getting some new tires, some gas as RD Brito, and it looks like we are going to go on by there in the touring cars. Let's just stay on here and watch this view. Watch all the cars come off the final corner now as you see Zaterra. Vettel and Hydra got some work to do though. There's Scottson, the race leader, goes right on by there. And there they go. And SSR Shane coming around. You know these drivers will be making pit stops soon though, because Shane and Nicole are getting near the brim of what they're looking for. As it looks like Vettel's going to have to work on SSR Shane, and Shane's not on the same pit strategy right now, so that's going to make Vettel work a little bit. And Vettel working on Shane side by side off the corner. And he gets right on by Shane there and is back on a mixture. Oh, my clips the tariff! I'm not sure what happened there, but it looks like Saterab is I don't know what happened. I think they just barely clipped each other. That was very, very sketchy. I know that was definitely incidental, but a very scary moment. Bobberts, let's see if Bobberts take that position away from Nicole, though. He took that pit stop a couple of laps ago, and Nicole decided to stay out for at least 2 of those laps. Does he get on by? He gets by Shane, we know that much, and he gets around Nicole as well. So Nicole making a little bit of a bad decision there. She decided to stay out. That gave Bobberts a chance to run by himself for a little bit. Oh, we're getting some changes throughout this race. And let's go back here a little bit. We see RD Gui, I believe, trying to catch up to Proto now as Hydra gets on by both of them. And Gui trying to catch back up to his teammate. He's been having an up and down race. Just not something that you normally see, but at a track like this, it's difficult as Brands Hatch can be, and it's a small racetrack. A lot of things can happen, and they're trying to do some battling for that third position. Let's see how GRT Let's Fly is doing, though. He's been all by himself for a while, and he's lost a little bit of the distance. You gotta wonder if the Dirt Police held him up at all in this one. As we thought he might have been catching up to him. Let's get back onto the battle for third in the touring car class, so between RD, Proto, and Gui. And I almost left, and I did. Picked the wrong guy for it. Sorry about that. And you see Roberts gets right on by there. As you see, we are riding on the rear camera view. Gui's not able to make any ground up on Proto here. SSR Nicole goes to the inside of Gui. And Gui goes off the racetrack. Not sure if Nicole overdrove that corner, but that it really affected Gui. And Gui now is sitting here by himself. We go to Silverstone next week, so you gotta wonder how some of these differences and some of the battles and the passing opportunities will be for both divisions, because right now Brands Hatch has shown no mercy for everybody, and they're all doing their best to try to avoid one another. Let's try it. Let's check out how Vettel's been doing since then. Has he gained any ground on Scottson? And it looks like he got a little bit on him, though. And Hydra's back there in third. But we do have a battle, looks like, back there for 7th and 8th between SSR Numi and RD Jansen. Let's get on to this little battle here in the prototype groups right now. Jansen working on the back end of Numi. Jansen trying to work on Numi as they get up to second place driver in the touring car division. GRT Let's Fly. And Numi dives to the inside. Oh man! Just barely squeezed in there, but Let's Fly was able to hold on to the car. So good thing, because it looks like Jansen didn't want to give up too much ground on Numi there. And we are 45 minutes to go in this one, ladies and gentlemen. They have raced already for 45 of their own. And we've had some really good battles out there, and it's been fun to watch for the most part. Nothing too bland about this one. We've got all types of things going on here. Bumping and grinding, racing side by side, driving through fields. We got little battles all over the racetrack. The RDE drivers. We got some prototype battles. It's been pretty fun to watch and see how things have gone about. We've only lost one driver, the MRT Jewel. And Yami is trying to get out of the way of that one as his teammate in the Proto division, Numi, tried to get on by, and Jansen as well. Nice little battle here between Numi and Jansen. That 7th and 8th place car. Pull up the race map, you can see where everybody is on the track. Well, for the most part, you can't really see them based off the position, but you can see where kind of the spread is. Jansen still working on SSR Numi right here. Jansen looked to the inside, nothing there. Numi able to hold on to his line. He had a little bit of a struggling start, and he kind of regrouped since then. Numi get a little bit more middle of that turn, and it looks like we lost another driver. And it's Gui, RD Gui. Not sure what happened to Gui there, but he has either lagged out or backed out, unfortunately. Not sure what happened. And Numi gets really wide. It gives Jansen an opportunity to the inside. He'll take over the 7th spot, and now Numi's got to track him down. So Numi working on the back end of Jansen now for that 7th spot. It looks like Jansen might be getting away from him now. SSR Starlord and Zotera from nearby one another. And we're going to move further up here as Vettel and Hydra have gotten closer to one another as well. Hydra, who started second this one, has had an up and down race, and Vettel has kind of gotten through all the chaos. And meanwhile, Hydra, I believe Joel got into it, and I'm not sure if that's what happened that caused his disappearance. And there's the Yami right there, the race leader of the touring car group. We'll get on that rear camera view. You can see Hydra right there behind him. Let's see if Jansen and Numi are still going at it. and they are not, as Jansen's starting to get away from Numi just a little bit there as they go by the Dirt Police. Next to Terep, running fourth right now, right in front of SSR Star-Lord. Star-Lord trying to hold on to his line, not getting in the way of Jansen. And Jansen gets on by both of them. Numi goes to the inside of Star-Lord. It's kind of 50 and 50 who you are here, because right now these guys are kind of going at it back and forth, and if you're in the battle, you don't really want to get caught up in anything, and you don't want anyone kind of intervening on anything. So for Star-Lord, that was kind of a moment, and for Numi, it was more of a get out of the way, I'm trying to track someone down type moment. So we'll come back, we'll keep an eye on them. Let's get back up to Hydra and see how that is going between him and Vettel right now, as he's been creeping back up in that. And Gui lagged out, just got that confirmation from him as well. So Joel and Gui, one driver from each division, had issues. And Hydra's working so hard on trying to catch up to Vettel to have that battle for second. And if you look at the race map, look at the turn one on the bottom corner of the race map, that's where Scotson is right now. And you can see these two are just coming off of the final corner. So Scotson running all by himself, and Scotson doing what Scotson does. We've seen him in season 1 of the Prototype series when he came in halfway. Didn't win the title that year, back in 2018. Last year he competed again in the Prototype Challenge, and he won the championship. But we've seen multiple races where he struggled, and you see him going through the touring car guys right now. And Star-Lord's probably having enough of this, and he's going to be dealing with 2 more Prototype drivers very soon. So he's trying to reel in Terep, but keeps getting interrupted by the Proto guys. Going back to Scotson here, we're talking about a guy that dominated the second season of the Prototype Championship, and he's looking to defend that title probably later again this year when it comes back to MEA. But back with us again in a Prototype, but in a multi-class division, and he's looking to go for his second title in MEA, and today he's doing a very good start so far on that. Still got about 40 minutes left in this one, so it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. But Scott's just hanging on tight, so we'll keep an eye on him as the race progresses as well. And Vettel caught up to the touring car group right now, goes to the inside of Star-Lord. Star-Lord is slowly reeling into Terep, but keeps, like we said before, he's getting interrupted by the Prototype guys as Hydra and them have gotten involved as well. Star-Lord got out of the way of Hydra. Hydra's able to squeeze on by both of them without any issues. So let's check on the rest of the field now. SSR Bobberts had a struggle so far in this one. It's kind of rebounded since then. Kind of by himself right now. Running in that 4th spot. He just came off a MEA title in the MEA NASCAR Season 2 as he got his first title in MEA history. A battle for the 5th spot though. SSR Nicole and SSR Shane, 2 teammates but driving against each other. As you can see the team-like paint scheme on there. As you saw the RDE guys as well have that similar paint scheme on all their cars. Doing some battling right here though, as Nicole has been struggling middle of this race. She had a great start in the beginning of the race. As we got into the halfway point, we've seen her kind of dip off a little bit, and she's trying to regain everything she lost, but it looks like Shane has found some fire here, and it's making it tough for Nicole to get by, if not already got passed by him. And Shane's starting to drift off into the distance, but we'll come back to check out how that's playing out. Let's see how RD Jansen's doing after his battle with Numi, and Numi has definitely faded out. And we saw Scottson, the race leader of the prototype group. Now let's go to the race leader of the touring car division. That is SSR Yami in his first ever MEA event. And he has been on fire throughout all of this event. Look at that. You see both leaders right there on the screen. Scottson and Yami going right by. Goes Scottson. Waving on by is Yami. So how about that? Both race leaders in that moment with one another. We'll go back and see how Let's Fly's doing. He's been all the way. Oh, Hydra made a mistake. He spun out off the corner. And a big mistake by Hydra. Not sure what happened there, but he lost quite a bit of time against Vettel. He did all that work to catch up, and he lost the car. And that happened right in front of Let's Fly, and Let's Fly did everything he could to avoid it. Thankfully, he didn't get caught up into it, but he made it work. So very fortunate for both of these guys not to be making unscheduled pit stops, because that could have been catastrophic for both drivers. So let's check out how Star-Lord's doing. Looks like he got by Zaterra finally, and he did. Look at this, SSR Bomber's getting caught up in the mix. He runs Zaterra off the track by mistake. Wow, we are catching everything at the last minute today, ladies and gentlemen. Not what you want to see, though, as Bobber's caught right up to him. You saw him hit the brakes, but he's just got so much momentum off that corner. Star-Lord was the kind of the lucky one in that mix, as he got kind of hung up into that, or not hung up into that, like Zaterra did, and Zaterra didn't really have nowhere else to go. That was an unfortunate mishap by both drivers. Star-Lord has slowly creeped himself back into the top 5 as SSR Shane and SSR Nicole starting to fade away from one another. Those two have been battling it out. Nicole, Shane go on by. Let's go check on the Dirt Police. This is his first ever MEA appearance, and he's just making some progress, and he just got a pit stop, so he just came out of the pits, actually. Let's see how far back he is. He's quite a ways back, but this is his first ever appearance in MEA. Let's check on the car. Let's see the kind of paint scheme we got for him. Driver of LCR, looks like, and driving that number 14 touring car, as Hydra is going to go on by him. The Dirt Police, currently running 6th in the touring car class. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there was supposed to be 23 drivers here today. Some of the drivers not able to make it, and a couple of drivers miscalculated the time, and we know that the time zones have been changed in the last month or so for many places, so it was kind of a mishap for some of the drivers. But all the drivers that qualified do get points based off where their position was in qualifying, and then all the drivers that missed today that were qualified will go after the bottom of the C lobby group is completed. So the times will be, all those drivers will be included, and will have points. Some of the drivers like RBM Vinny, who missed the race, Stance, those guys. We had a couple other drivers that didn't make it as well. So about 50-plus drivers made the race today. Some of the drivers weren't able to show, but it's been a great showing out of the 70-something registered drivers for the series. So we're really happy to see the numbers show here at MEA once again. So we're going to get off the Dirt Police, as we gave him some time to check him out. And let's go back up and see if Nicole and Shane have closed the gap at all. And it looks like she lost him. Trying to find that. Well, we can stay on this real quick. As the Protos go on by, GRT Let's Fly, he's running in that 2nd spot. Zaterra starting to lose Star-Lord. Probably wouldn't have lost him as much if it wasn't for the incident between him and Bobberts coming off that final corner. Bobberts got a little greedy with his speed and tried to avoid it, but wasn't able to, which caught Zaterra into the sand. As you see Scottson, the race leader of the Protos, come on by. Go check on Vettel, see how he's actually not that far off. I mean, if we pull up the race map, He's actually closed that gap a little bit with Scottson. Not sure if Scottson made a big mistake or not, but definitely starting to see the gap kind of dwindle down a little bit. Vettel squeezing on by Zatara. And don't forget, post-race interviews coming up. We're going to try to get the top 5 of both divisions in here. Have a little chat with them. I know some of the drivers are racing in the Forza GT Masters, which is coming up after this with the GRT. It's one of the German series organizers. They got that coming up after this race. It's GRT Let's Fly. He's with us here. He's got this and then that to do. So we're glad to see he was able to make the race today. That's always a good, nice. It was a very nice thing to see for him. We've never had any of the GRT drivers, I believe, ever compete. I think we might have had Patsy one time, but I think he was racing for a different team at that time. So this is a debut for German racing team. The battles have kind of dwindled down. The closest one is that prototype battle. Looks like Zatara and Starler are starting to drift off. Brito's all by himself. Let's go check out Brito. He's been kind of getting the pace. You see Vettel's finally going on by him, and one of the 3 RDE competitors here today with us. We're glad to have them as they are making their debut here in MEA. We have seen one of their current drivers on the roster. I believe that was, I can't remember his name, but he competed back in the Corvette Challenge of the Manufacturers Challenge. And he was with us back in MEA NASCAR's. Brito is making a scheduled pit stop, it looks like. To find out, let's check out their wear. The tire wear is killing these guys on the touring car classes. Starlord as well makes a pit stop, and Zatara will stay out on the racetrack as he says, I'm going to get some more laps in. Let's check on Yami here. Yami made a pit stop. He just got out of the pits, actually, so that gives Let's Fly the lead. So pit stops are in the making here for the touring car class again, as the Proto guys. Let's check on how the race leaders' fuel mileage is going, because for them it's not so much the tire wear as it is the fuel, and they're down to about their last 30%, if all on the same pit strategy. ESV Scottson looking to get his first win on the season, but he's got a long way to go as Vettel is closing that gap. Hyja's lost pace because of a little bit of an accident, and then the rest of the field is about half a track length behind, and Numi is actually in threat of being the first car a lap down in this one. So it's definitely getting interesting for a couple of these classes, because we're seeing the cars now go lap downs in both divisions. Or getting ready to, I should say. The Dirt Police hasn't gone down a lap yet. He's still about a few turns in front of his race leader. Numi's actually straight away from being a lap down with Scottson. And he's about to go by his teammate in the touring car division, Starlord. Starlord giving him that room to get on by. SSR Numi not having the best run today, but he's had his moments. It's been an up and down race for many drivers here today, and Numi is just trying to stay on that lead lap. He's got about 25% of gas left in the tank, so he's hanging on strong right now. But we go back to Scottson here. He's not too far off of him. I wonder if Scottson's going to have to make a pit stop, though, before he even reaches Numi. If he can get to Numi. There's about 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes left in this one, ladies and gentlemen. Just to give you an update, the lobby ends when the race timer ends. So they're racing till the very end of the timer. So right now we're just seeing how this one plays out, as you want to get as far away, you want to drive as far as possible, and you want to be the guy that's in front of everybody else when the race timer hits 0. And to give a little clue of this paint scheme by ESV Scottson, it's a replica of, I believe, the C7R GT car. He's done phenomenal paints in the past. The last one he did was, I believe, a PlayStation, or at least in season 1 of the prototype series he did. The last one was a dark, like, navy blue, so it's kind of a color we're not used to seeing in Scottson. And Scottson's starting to really close in on some of these drivers in the touring car group. And it looks like Hydra made a pit stop, actually, so let's get on that real quick. He's actually in front of Nicole, behind Shane, and trying to get around SSR Yami in the touring car division. Yami's been pretty much all alone. He was looking forward to race with one of those top guys from qualifying, and obviously not making the race today. That was definitely a bummer for him. I know he was really looking forward to that after talking to him before the race. But Hydra did make his scheduled pit stop. The prototypes might have to make one more stop. I know that the touring cars are going to probably be fine to go from here on out, I would assume. As you see Nicole there trying to trail Hydra. And Nicole looks like she went off the racetrack just a little bit there. So we still got 3 lobbies of racing going. C, B, and A. A, B, C. 1, 2, 3. Looks like Jansen went to the pits. So Jansen's in pit road. I wonder if Scottson has decided to pit yet. Nope, he's staying out on the racetrack. Vettel. He's staying out as well. It looks like he's trying to run the same strategy as Scottson. And look at this. Looks like Zaterep has caught back up to Star-Lord. Got them fresh tires. Looks like the car makes a difference in that car for sure. And we got 4 different cars on the racetrack, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Mercedes-Benz, we have the Audi, we have the Chevy, and we have the Honda Civic out there as well. These are the 4 touring cars that are competing in this series. For the prototypes, it's all the same car, just they have the different variations of number. If they're driving the 55, their PI is going to be 959. If they're driving those 89 or the 99, it's going to be P960. But all the cars are pretty much the same, those Chevy LMP 09s. So touring car class is really interesting, though, because the 4 top times in touring cars were all 4 individually of each of these manufacturers. As Zaterep's really putting on a clinic right now, as he's really caught up to Star-Lord. This is getting good for the touring car class in this little battle here. It looks like that Scottson might have made a pit stop. No, he did not. Let's get back on the battle here. RD Brito, GRT Let's Fly, they're near one another. And Zaterep's starting to make micro mistakes. You see SSR Shane right there. Go check out RD Brito. Did he decide to make a pit stop? No. Looks like Let's Fly got by him. Actually, Brito did make a pit stop. So Brito caught up, and Let's Fly must have made a mistake, because somewhere along the lines, these 2 drivers have gotten near one another. So it's really interesting to watch how these guys are playing out in these different cars. The Honda Civic, and I believe he's in the Audi RS3. So race action still going on amongst all three groups, and all three groups actually started without any restarts, so that's really exciting as well. Sometimes, you know, with the connection and the live and everything, you kind of have to go by, you know, what Forza says and not by what we say. So it's really nice to see that we didn't really have to do any extra work to making this race possible today, and, you know, fighting with the system. It looks like SSR Nicole is hanging with Hydra, which is a very interesting take right now. And Hydra's been just struggling throughout this race, unfortunately, and not the way he wants to start off the season. But he's going to do everything he can to get another title. He's a two-time winner in MEA. Two-time winner, once in the M3 series, I do believe. I know he's won the GT Championship Series Season 2, so either that or one of the other series. I don't have it in front of me, so I do apologize for not knowing off the top of my head. And Hydra's gotten to the back end of Let's Fly. Nicole got held up, it looked like, by RD Brito as she gets on by him. Let's go check out new race leader RZM Vettel, staying out on the racetrack for another lap, it looks like. He's feeling good. He's been catching up to Scottson throughout this race, so Vettel trying to make things happen right now and possibly pick up the race win today. He's got about 20 minutes left in this one. About 25, 30 minutes left in this one to make something happen. So just hang in there tight as he goes in to make his pit stop. So Scottson will be coming by here a little bit. Scottson had passed, it looks like, Numi. So Numi is now a lap down in this one. So we're going to find out and see how far Vettel is. Let's see if he shows when we go by here. There's Vettel coming out of the pits now. So Vettel doing some work. And Vettel is out of the pit road. And it looks like he got caught up a little bit off that first corner. It's riding along with SSR Nui right now, the first car lap down in his class. He had to make a pit stop as well, so he's probably good to go the rest of the way. I would assume he's good to go the rest of the way, not knowing exactly the exact time left in this. You know, I'm only basing it off of the time clock, you know, when we started, which is about a quarter after the top of the hour. Let's see if anything's changed between the battle between Zaterep and Starlord. So he'll get on Zaterep. Zaterep losing off that corner there. GRT Let's Fly. Looks like he must have made a mistake. Let's Fly loses a position. RD Burrito has taken over that second spot. Meanwhile, race leader SSR Yami all alone right now. You can see this gap right here. This is where first and second lie. So Yami's really made this race his own today, and he's definitely putting on an amazing performance. As his counterpartner in the Protos, Scottson, has been just on fire, and it looks like Hydra and Nicole made a pit stop. Unscheduled stop for Hydra, I think. No. Okay, so Hydra went by. That was Shane that was in the pit. So Shane and Nicole are in pit road, and Hydra went on by. Forza has this thing where the car goes by, and you try to go see who's in the pits. It's just basing off of whoever was in that moment when you're clicking down. So I was really concerned for Hydra there for a minute because he's been having this up and down race. But they go to Silverstone next week, and that's going to favor the prototype guys a little bit more than here, because this track was to favor the touring cars, and we're trying to make it as evenly as possible amongst them to enjoy both, you know, the tracks for the cars. So every other week. And don't forget, there are 2 reverse grid races this season in the 6-week series. So on top of that, there's going to be 2 races at some point this season where there will be a reverse grid for the starting lineups. And that'll be interesting to watch. So it's always a fun time when you see those reverse grids and really see how people have to battle to get through the field. So we're going to really see what happens here. But Hydra running all by himself. Bobberts and Nicole are near each other again. And I'm not sure what's going on with Bobberts here. But now we got a 3-car battle, it looks like, for 4th. And Nicole and Bobberts, we've seen them earlier near one another, and they swapped positions. They're on a little bit different of a pit strategy. So about a 20% fuel difference on these cars. And right now it's in Nicole and Shane's favor over Bobberts. Can Bobberts make it to distance after that last stop? He's already made a slight mistake. It must have made a mistake because he got by Nicole and started getting away. So this is interesting to watch here as you see the touring car of MEA off in the distance. And let's see where everyone else is at on the racetrack. Scottson's getting close to putting Jansen a lap down now, as Bobberts, Nicole, Shane are going at it. And Jansen's had an interesting race as well. He really was off pace to start the race, and then he fought his way back up to get by MEA. Obviously, with MRT Joel leaving the race, unfortunately, that also gave him another position. But he was really cooking after the poor start, and ever since, he's kind of been fighting up and down, as MEA's been, his only real competitor up to this point when it comes to a battle on the racetrack. And MEA also struggling a little bit here today, but both drivers doing a great job, and it's their first, league race, which is, it's not the same as a regular hopper race. There's no carrot, there's nothing. There's stakes on the line, there's points, there's a championship, and they want to do everything they can to make the best of it. These guys have practiced all week long on getting their cars set up for this race, on getting their cars ready, putting the hours in, putting the time to getting them on the pace they need to compete with other guys above or near their level. So it's been definitely interesting to watch, and for some of these guys, it's going to be a little bit disappointing at the end of this one. But they got 5 weeks left, and anything can happen. It's a long series, and it's just nice to see all these new faces show up in MEA, and we're happy to have them. Now, Scottson's really starting to creep up on Jansen, as Scotson really hasn't made any big mistakes, and Vettel has been trying to catch up, ever since. And you pull up the race map, you can see how close they are. What Scottson's going to need, what Vettel's going to need is Scotson to make probably a couple of mistakes. We're down to the last 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. 15 minutes. This race is close to being over. We had an hour and 15 minutes in. Scottson's starting to close in to put someone a lap down. Well, let's go check out the race battle here between 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We'll ride with Nicole as she's chasing down Bobberts, and Shane right behind them. They're catching up to the Dirt Police there in the touring car by himself. You're going to have to hope that Shane can get on by, because they're going right into that corner. And the Dirt Police slows down just to let him on by. So that was very, very friendly of him to do. He didn't have to do that. He could have made it a little bit difficult just by running his own line, but he saw these three running with each other, and he didn't want to make anybody's race day an issue. So that's nice to see from him. And Nicole now under fire of SSR Shane. Shane looking to put a move on. Bobbert's able to drift off into the distance a little bit. These two, though, are on the same pit cycle, Nicole and Shane. So the battle between these two is legitimate right now, because these two drivers here they can make it to the end. So this is really where it can be a difference maker. Now, Bobberts, on the other hand, he's running on a completely different fuel mileage. If we look at these two fuel mileages here, these guys are running around 85% gas in the tank. So we go up to Bobberts here. He's running about 65. Yeah, so 65 to 84. That's a 20% fuel gap as they get down to the wire here. Now, Bobberts should be fine to the end, but it's going to be close for him, I think. I'm not sure if he'll make the distance. As they catch up to, I believe that's MEX the Terrap in the touring car, as Bobberts has gotten on by him. And Zaterap, one of the more consistent drivers in the series, having a kind of a rough day all by himself. He's been up and down, as many other drivers have been. Shane gets on by Nicole now, so Shane can kind of distance himself from Nicole. And Nicole's had an up and down race. She's been as high as, I believe, 4th in this race. Has fallen as far back as, I believe, 7th. And, getting squeezed on by the Star-Lord there. Star-Lord sees all his teammates and prototypes driving on by, trying not to wreck each other's races. And, you know, as a team driver, but Nicole gets into the stand just a little bit there. Luckily, that's not a rough part of the track. It's going to pull you right off the racetrack. And Vettel, not Vettel, but Scottson has gotten by Jansen now and putting him a lap down as Mexiterap is in the way of those guys. And Vettel doing everything he can to track down Scottson here, and he's working on him. And the C lobby has come to a close. Yep, confirmation. C lobby has completed their race. So we're about 10 minutes left in this one, I do believe. And the B lobby as well. I'm not sure where the B lobby is. I was actually helping the C lobby. Some other guys are actually taking care of the B lobby group right now, so we're not really sure if we're ahead or behind them. So I'm sure they're on the same, time frame as we are. If they got off on time. Oh, Vettel getting held up by Let's Fly, and he had to be really patient through that section to get on by him, because that almost could have been really catastrophic. As we saw Bobberts and Zaterap earlier, go nose to tail from a prototype being on the back end of a touring car, and it didn't work out too well a couple of times that we've seen it. And you see RD Brito, you see RD Jansen, as Jansen makes a mistake, it looks like, and Vettel goes to the inside of Jansen. Jansen, the lap down driver, letting Vettel on by. And we're just getting the results for the C lobby. We'll be glad to share that with you guys here momentarily. The B lobby, we might not be able to get those final results with them, but just stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We got post-race interviews coming up next with all the top 5 drivers of each class. Looking forward to talking to them, as Vettel has worked so hard to get back up to try to catch up to Scottson, and it's been really interesting. And Shane and Nicole are still duking it out. Bobberts has drifted off from them. The touring car group, Star-Lord and all of them, the battle for the touring cars has kind of dwindled down. You see Star-Lord there, and there's Terrap as Hydra goes on by him. Well, it's been a very interesting race to watch. Yami, however, has been on fire all race, as he's getting passed by some prototype guys right now. He was nice. Very friendly. He knows where he is on the track right now and how far back second is, so he just kind of slowed down there and let those guys on by. Very nice by him. As you see the race leader of the prototype, Scottson, he's showing up, and he's going to come on by Yami here. There's your race leaders right there, Scottson and Yami. Scottson and Prototype, MEA in the Touring. Really, really great performances by both of these drivers out there, and it's been a lot of fun to watch, especially earlier in the race when these guys had to duke it out and run through all the touring cars. It was very interesting to see how that played out on a track so slim like Brands Hatch. You know, next week we go to Silverstone. Silverstone's a way bigger track. It has a lot of fast sections. It has a couple of slow sections which will benefit the touring cars a little bit, but it's going to heavily favor the prototypes next week, and the prototypes won't have much of a problem, I would say, as they would have this week being at Brands Hatch and as, you know, small of a track as it is. So Scottson's really just putting on a clinic here today, and looks like Vettel finally got on by. Hydra's quite a ways back. He will not be able to really make any distance on these guys. We're near the closing stages of the race, and this just in. Zenith 5263 won the prototypes of the C Lobby, and SSR Goose wins the touring car division in the C Lobby. So congratulations to the Zenith and Goose, your touring and prototype winners of the C Lobby. As we are coming down to at least the last 5 or so minutes here. And Shane and Nicole are getting held up by a touring car. The Dirt Police, they go by him. That gives Nicole an opportunity to put down some pressure on Shane. So we're coming down to the close stages here, and this is the closest battle we have on the racetrack right now, and it's starting to drift away again. And Nicole's best opportunity, but it really just kind of, you know, went away from her there. Everybody's pretty much spaced out as Vettel gets on by, and Vettel, I don't think he's got enough time to really do a whole lot here as we're getting down to the closing moments. But we're going to ride with Scottson here. Let's going to see if he puts down to the 4th, 5th, and 6th prototype drivers. Looks like everybody but one driver finished in the C lobby, so good to see that. B lobby results still to be, you know, pending here. And we're going to see where MEA is. MEA still has a ways to get to the Dirt Police, so he's probably not going to put down anybody a lap anytime soon, as Nicole and Shane are now in the touring car traffic of Mexican Terra. Scottson getting up to Star-Lord now. Star-Lord lets them on by. And the battle between Shane and Nicole is legit. And they're in the middle of a battle, and Scottson's coming up here like, I'm going to put you both a lap down. This is a good little battle between Shane and Nicole right now. Two teammates duking it out, trying to edge each other out to see who will be in front of each other in the points going into next week. Both drivers didn't get qualification points. The top 3 drivers in both divisions, fastest times, get bonus points of 5, 4, and 3. Obviously 5 for the fastest times. And Nicole crashes in the wall! Nicole, big mistake! Wow, she just got annihilated. She lost the car coming off the corner and just got right into the wall, and that gives Shane every bit of ground he needs. And just like that, that battle is over. We are down to the last few minutes of this one, Shane trying not to go down a lap here as RD Brito, the second place car in the touring car class, right now getting in the way of both him and Scotts. And Scotts kind of let up a little bit there to let both of them get that room they need. And Shane running away from Scotts. And I think this is only exciting because there's no other battle on the racetrack right now. We've lost all the battles with about 15 minutes to go there, or actually the last couple minutes to go there. So we've had a battle for pretty much the entire race. That's been a good thing, and it's been exciting to watch. As we come down to the final wire here, ESV Scotson that leads that Proto field. SSR Yami leading the touring car field. Can Scotson put Shane a lap down before the end of this one? Let's see what Shane does here. Is he just going to play it safe and let him on by, or is he going to fight for his lap? And he's not going to fight for it. He lets him up, and Shane almost goes off the track. Looks like trying to avoid it. SSR Yami. GRT Let's Fly. He was running so good, and just in that last quarter of the race, he's slowly falling off, and Brito really caught fire, it looks like. Hydra, who's struggled throughout this race, goes on by Starlord there in turn 2. Starlord's actually catching up to Let's Fly, so very interesting. And that's it! ESV Scotson, your race leader, winner of the Protos. And Yami for the touring cars. And here are the final results, ladies and gentlemen. ESV Scotson, your race winner, and SSR Yami, your race winner of the Proto and touring car division. We're going to have post-race interviews up next with the top 5 of each class. And what a great race we had there. And we're going to get these guys in here momentarily, give them a little chat with, and hopefully we can get all the drivers in here to have a nice chat with them. So we got to make sure we get each driver in here. So right now, Scotson, Vettel, Hydra, Bobertson, Shane. We'll get Bobertson here as well. And then we'll get the touring car class in here as well to get them out of the way. So just stay tuned and we'll get them in here. So again, post-race interviews coming up next, and we'll get the drivers in here to talk to them. So we're just getting them in here right now. We're just bearing the time. Hopefully we can get Brito and all of them in here as well. And we'll get everybody in here. So we need Let's Fly, Starlord, and Zotero. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, ESV Scotson, your race leader in the Protos, and SSR Yami in the Prototypes, or touring car class, I'm sorry. And I believe GTR Let's Fly needs to go to another race. And it looks like Scotson's so Hydra and okay, so we'll exclude them from the interviews here today. But those are your final results, ladies and gentlemen. So for the drivers that just joined the party, please check off the audio box in the race party so that everyone can hear you. And we're going to start with the Prototype group. ESV Scotson not going to be able to make interviews, had to leave right after the race, so we'll bypass him. Starting with it, though, Shane, make sure your audio's on, and SSR Shane, top 5 finish in week number 1. It was a very, very difficult race for you guys today. It seemed like going through the field, and I've seen a lot of different guys have different things. Take us through your race and how tough that was today at a track like this. Shane, you there?
Oh, sorry, bro. Sorry.
That was a question for you.
Yeah, sorry. No, yeah, the race went okay, but yeah, I wasn't happy with my pace, so yeah, man, I became 5th. And I had a decent fight with Nicole at the last, so yeah, man, it was a really nice race, but yeah, it's not my track, you know, so I'm happy the Brands Hatch is done, you know.
Well, we go to Silverstone next week. What's going to be the difference between this week and next week?
Silverstone I like more and I drove more. So Brands Hatch was a little, it was a track I didn't like, so I didn't drove much. So yeah, for my doing, I did well here now. So yeah, I'm happy.
Well, congratulations on a top 5 finish, and we'll see you next week. And
Thank you, man. See you later, bro.
And moving up the ladder, SSR Bobberts coming off of a title win, back in racing action again. And Bobberts, first time in a prototype, first time in a race such as this, and being such a small track and not really a whole lot of room, you were kind of up and down as many other drivers throughout the race. Tell me how tough that was for you guys today and how you managed to get through the field.
As much as I like that track, those cars don't suit it. Obviously, as you said, it's a very tight engine track. It's very hard to get past the touring cars, unless your name was Yami, and he just moved over to one side. But to be fair, I didn't have a lot of issues with most people, but I wasn't particularly happy with my pace overall. Too many mistakes. I mean, I thought I lost 4th place at the end. But I was kind of lucky. And
we saw that you were on a little bit of a different pit strategy there. Late. Explain that strategy, because you're about 20% off of almost everybody in your class. Did you have a mistake earlier? Because you and Nicole battled for a little bit. She took a later pit stop. You got in front of her, and then later after she made a pit stop, you guys got right back together. What happened?
Yeah, so obviously as I was 9th after a big mistake I made, obviously I was just trying to get back through the field, and then Nicole and I had a little battle until I got ahead after the pit stops. And then as soon as I pitted, I spun twice in 1 lap. So that's what made her and Shane bite on my bum. So,
and obviously Nicole...
After I got going again, then it was, I'm not going to say plain sailing, but I think I was quicker than both her and Shane, so it was kind of comfortable in the end.
Well, it's definitely your first time in a prototype, so it's definitely a different type of feel for you. But after today, it looks like you seem to get a good grip on the car. Going to a track like Silverstone next week, I'm sure it's going to be a lot more comfortable for a lot of the guys in this class. So congratulations on a top 5 finish, and looking forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you.
And the next driver up in 3rd would be Hydra DRM, and Hydra, with the struggle of a race today, it didn't really go his way, but was able to salvage a top 3 finish. And Hydra not able to make the interviews, had to leave. So we'll move up the ladder to the runner-up spot. And Vettel, welcome back to MEA. It's been a while since we've seen you here, since I believe the GT Championship Series, since the last time we've seen you. But you ran a pretty strong race, a little bit of a struggle in the beginning, and just like a couple of guys said, I'm sure it was a little bit of a difficult situation racing at a track like this.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of incidents. Just pretty aggressive driving. Back in the fields, some nice strategy. Case runs into stuff. Needs to beat it.
Mm-hmm. And you talked about, having the early incident and, being an hour and a half of driving, those early incidences that you can make up for them compared to kind of like a sprint race with only a handful of laps. But you seem to be getting better as the race progressed, and it looked like at the end there you started catching up to Scottson a little bit, but just really didn't have enough time, and because of the issues early on. What do you take from this race and going into Silverstone? And I'm sure Silverstone will be a lot more better suited for all of you guys in this class. And it's definitely a top-heavy field for sure, and I think we're going to see a lot of competitive racing between you, Scottson, and Hydra for the weeks to come in the last 5 weeks of the series. But a great run by you today, Vettel. Glad to see you back in MEA, and we'll look forward to seeing you in week number 2. No problem. And going back down real quick, I think Hydra had popped back in here real quick. Hydra, You finished third in today's race, and make sure your audio is checked off so that everyone can hear you. But kind of a struggle. We actually caught when you made a mistake before, near the second to the last turn. What happened there?
Which one?
Must have been more mistakes that I missed because you were chasing Vettel, I believe, racing with him, and you made a big mistake where GTR Let's Fly almost crushed your car.
Yeah. I just tipped the grass on the left and just spun my car. I was doing it all race, and I don't know, I just spun my car that time. But later on in the race, then Vettel pushed off Let's Fly by mistake because he turned in on him. And then Let's Fly just came straight across the track. This was on turn 5, I believe, or turn 4. And he just gave me full damage in the front. I couldn't turn at all. So that's why I lost a significant amount of time. I was gaining around, I don't know, 5/10 a lap at that point because I was doing really well.
Well, you were able to kind of salvage, the top 3 spot, and you guys were completely, you guys in the top 3, you, Vettel, Scotts, and you guys were all checking out, kind of leaving everybody behind. So even though you made a couple mistakes, you kind of gave yourself some room to kind of salvage any time you might have lost to anybody that might have been behind you. But going into next week, how much more confident will you be going into Silverstone than Brands Hatch?
Way more confident because Brands Hatch is probably my worst track.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Congratulations on a top 3 finish, and hopefully better luck next week to you.
Thank you.
And moving down to the touring car class, we'll get down to their group here. SSR Miami, your race winner. We're going to start with MEX Zaterep, and you guys make sure, once again, your audio is on. Zaterep, is he in the party? Yes, he is. Zaterep, so you kind of had an up and down race yourself. It was a struggle, partial the way. I know there was a part of the race where you and Starler were battling for position, and then Bobberts kind of got to the back end of your car coming off the corner. Unfortunate circumstances, but you fought and you fought and you fought throughout the race. How tough was it for you today, and how hard is it for you as a touring car driver to be aware of not only the battle that you're in, but the prototype guys on the tractor coming near you?
Yeah, it was a technical talk in this case, but with this battles, it was a really fun race for me. I think that the battles I had with Starler were so tough, but I made some mistakes that made me late behind. So I had to recover a lot of some pace, but it was really difficult for me with the pace. These cars are technical.
Well, we're glad to have you back in MEA. We haven't seen you for a few series, and the last time we seen you was last year. So, coming back, getting back in the swing of things, how tough has it been for you to get back into the competitive league racing, or if you haven't stopped league racing for that matter?
I kept on some races in league, but MEA is more challenge for me because there are good drivers here in the series.
But once again, Zaterep, congratulations on the top 5 finish. I know your guys' class didn't get the full field, and Vinny and Stance actually thought it was a little bit later, so they actually missed the race. But congratulations on a top 5, Zaterep, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
And moving up that ladder, once again, SSR Starlord, you had one of the more interesting races, I think. You started a little bit strong, then you fell off. You kind of had to fight your way back up there, and for a while, you guys were battling, I think, for 4th between 4 of you. I think it was between you, Gui, Let's Fly, Burrito, and you guys battled. Then you were dealing with Zaterep, and unfortunately, the mistake between him and Bobberts there kind of got him off track. But then he caught back up to you a little bit, but then you were able to kind of put the hammer down and kind of get away from him. How hard was that for you today? And is this your first time ever driving in these cars?
It was pretty difficult. I started strong, and then I guess Jules and Twitch went off in the sand on turn 1 and came back on the track, and I had nowhere to go, so I hit him and had full damage, had to haul it all the way around to the pits, and then, tried to come back from that. I did decent, but, I was pushing harder and made a couple mistakes, and then when I pit, after I passed Zatar the first time, I had a bad outlap, and then he passed me in the pits, And then, so I had to battle him again. So, I mean, it was fun. I at least had battles and stuff. But, yeah, it was pretty difficult.
And, you know, in the beginning of that race, when the prototype drivers caught up to you guys, I mean, you guys were still with each other. I know for a few of the drivers, you guys were in a 4-car pack for the longest time. How difficult is it for you to, at a track like this where it's really suited for just you guys, not so much for the prototype guys, how difficult was it to not only battle for your guys' sake, but deal with the prototype drivers coming by?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, there was just really, like, no room. So I tried to give as much as possible while holding my own line and not trying to let people pass me. But, I mean, it was pretty fun in the beginning. I wish it kept going the whole race, but I had that incident, and then I had to fight my way back.
Well, congratulations on a top 5 finish, Star-Lord, and we know you're a former champion here at MEA, and we know that you're looking to get your 2nd title. How tough is it going to be for you this season to do that with the competition that you have ahead of you?
I probably have no shot, but I'm going to give it my all.
Good luck to that, and we'll see you next week. And moving up the ladder would be GRT Let's Fly, but he has the Forza GT Masters race to get to. He had a good start to the race, got caught behind a little bit, eventually battled with RDE Burrito, and eventually ends up finishing 3rd in his race. So a good, bad, but it was on and off for him. So congratulations to him on a top 3 finish. And then RDE Burrito finishing 2nd, and Burrito, you with me? Well, I just want to say congratulations on a top 5 finish today. You definitely had to work for it. Your teammate Gui lagged out of the race late, and you just seemed to battle throughout every obstacle. Can you just take us through your race real quick and how it feels to finish in that top 5 after working so hard to get there?
It is a very, very hard race, and I am very happy to in the 2nd place. RS3 car is a very easy car, but I is more slow of Cruise. Cruise is very fast, and I can't take the Yemen. But good race, and is this.
Well, congratulations on a 2nd place finish, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week and going into Silverstone for another battle at the championship. So congratulations today, and we'll see you next week, Burrito.
Very, very thanks.
And your race winner in the touring car class. Yeah, you're with the pack, but you said goodbye as SSR Yami, the race winner. And Yami, make sure your audio's on. But Yami, talk about a race for yourself. You and Scottson, they're both winners of your classes. You guys didn't look back. I mean, we talk about how great Scottson has been over the years here at MEA, and he's put on a clinic once again today. But you put on a clinic yourself. You got out front like you were planning to, off of the pole, and then you never looked back. You didn't seem like you made any mistakes out there. Your race was kind of quiet, but there were moments where you had to deal with the prototype guys. How hard was that for you today, and how consistently were you consistent throughout the whole race? We didn't see any mistakes by you.
I was pretty consistent. I did have a couple mistakes here and there. Every so often I would touch the grass, but other than that, it was pretty good. In terms of dealing with the prototype cars, I knew I had the lead, and I knew that I could slow down and just give them their space. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I had the advantage against Brito's Audi in terms of acceleration and top end. Mm-hmm. So all in all, it was pretty fun. Yeah, it was a bit upsetting that the top 3 guys that qualified fast and couldn't make it, but definitely would have been a lot more fun of a battle for people to watch.
Well, just so you know,
all in all, it was fun. I enjoyed myself. Chevy Cruze is a really good, consistent car.
Well, going into next week at Silverstone, the reason why Vinny and Stance and them didn't make it today, they thought it was actually an hour later than what it was supposed to be. And they weren't actually expected to make the race today to begin with, so them being able to, I'm sure in their eyes, it sucks, but at the same time, you know, they're still guaranteed points, so they're still in the hunt for the title. But going into next week at Silverstone, I mean, these cars were fit for a track like this, and it was kind of not the Proto's day, but going to next week, it's favoring the prototypes. What do you think is going to be the difference maker for these touring cars next week?
What's going to make a huge difference is basically the amount of speed and pace you can maintain through the corners. in Silverstone as well as the straightaways. I could see the Mercedes and the Honda being really, really dominant down the straightaways, and I could definitely see the Audi being the more dominant car around those much more faster S curves.
So you feel like you got your work cut out for you next week then, huh?
Yes, exactly. Like I'll most likely just be relying mostly on all the Chevy's acceleration to try and maintain my pace and try to keep up with everybody else, and mostly focus on not making a mistake. Because if I do make a mistake, it's pretty much done.
Well, you know, Yami, you put on one heck of a show today, and it's definitely something good to start out on in the new series. And obviously, week one, what's the best way to do it than get a win? You know, like you said, there's some work to cut out for you going into the week upcoming, but nonetheless, it gives you a nice little gap with some of the guys that were up there in pace today that didn't make the race. It gives you a little chance to kind of relax a little more, so you don't have to worry about putting too much pressure on yourself. But congratulations on the win today, Yami, and we're looking forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you.
And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we didn't mention ESV Scottsdale real quick. ESV Scottsdale, your race winner in the prototype division, dominated the performance, had one mistake throughout the entire race, just like Yami dominated his class. Congratulations to ESV Scottsdale on week one win, and congratulations to SSR Yami and his week one win as well. I'm SSR Mayhem. Thank you for watching. This was week number 1 of the MEA Prototype Orca and Touring Car Championship Series. We'll see you next week at Silverstone, same time, same place. And you all have a good night, and take care until next time here at MEA.